let us have more problems about lesson 2.1 and 2.2. So this is already our part 2. So if you have not watched the part 1, so please watch it first. For example 1, we are asked to find the radian measure of an angle. So what is the measure in radians of a central angle theta that intercepts an arc of length 4 feet on the circle with radius 10 feet? So we just have to write we just have to write the formula relating to radian measure. That's theta is equal to S over R. So our S here is 4 feet, and then our R is 10 feet. So as a solution, S is 4, R is 10 feet. So that will give us 4 divided by 10 is 0.4 radian. So um, if in case you are asked to write your answers in radian in terms of pi, so what you need to do here is simply multiply 0.4 with pi over pi. So normally we want the pi in the numerator if the radiant is in terms of pi, so do not do anything with the pi, but instead you will divide 0.4 with pi. So 0.4 divided by pi, if you use your calculator, that would be approximately 0.13. So we'll write it in fraction. So in other words, that would be 13 out of 100, then pi. Okay. Both are in radiant, but the difference is you can actually end up with the final answer here. But if the instruction says that the radiant should be in terms of pi, you have to do this. Okay, let's continue to our example 2. Converting degrees to radians. So we are asked to convert 45 degrees to radians here. So what we need to do is to multiply 45 degrees by pi over 180 degrees. So the degrees will be cancelled out. So what will be left is just the pi. So you have 45 over 180. So if you simplify this using your calculator perhaps, so 45 over 180 is just 1/4. That's the case, that's pi over 4 radians. So let's try another example. We're asked to convert 472 degrees to radians. In this case, we just have to multiply 472 degrees by pi over 180 degrees. So we cancel out the unit degree, and then what is left would be 472 pi over 180 degrees. I want no more degrees, 180 only. So if we simplify that, 472 over 180, the simplest form is 118 over 45. If we want to get the exact, if we want to approximate the value of 118 pi over 45, we can use a calculator. So the approximation of this one, so when we say approximation, so we use this symbol instead of an equal sign. This would be 8.238. Okay, this would just be the same. So let's continue here. Okay, I think instead of this, the given here must be convert 2 pi over 3, 2 degrees. Because the task is all about converting radians to degrees. So this is a sample. This is a radian. Then we have to convert it into degree. So if that's the case, we just have to multiply 2 pi over 3 with 180 degrees over pi. So we cancel out the pi now. So we have 2 times 180, which is 360 degrees, divide by 3. That would be 120 degrees. Okay, let's continue to example 4. Finding arc length when the angle has radian measure. So in a circle with radius 10 centimeters, an arc is intercepted by a central angle with measure 7 pi over 4. Find the arc length. So we just have to write the formula for arc length when the angle has radian measure. So that would be S is equal to R theta. So the given is R is equal to 10 cm. The theta, make sure it's in radians. So we put a little r here as an indicator that it should not be in degree, but in radians. So the given is 7 pi over 4. So S is equal to 10 cm times 7 pi over 4. So that's 10 times 7. So 70 pi over 4. Then we can still simplify this because 70 can be divided with 2. So 35. Then 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our final answer is 35 pi over 2 centimeters. Now let's have example 5, a word problem related to arc length. So the International Space Station or ISS is approximately circular orbit 400 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. If the ground station tracks the space station when it is within a 45-degree central angle of this circular orbit above the tracking antenna, how many kilometers does the ISS cover while it is being tracked from the ground station? Assuming that the radius of the Earth is 6,400 kilometers, we have to round to the nearest kilometer for our final answer. So first of all, if we have to write our formula for arc length, which is S is equal to R theta. But our R theta or the theta here must be in radian. But the problem is it's 45 degrees. So we still have to convert 45 degrees into radian. So to do that, 45 degrees, we multiply it with pi over 180 degrees. So the degrees will be cancelled out. 45 over 180 is just 1/4. In other words, pi over 4. So, next, we have our theta already in radian, which is pi over 4. The next thing that we need to figure out is now our radius. So the diameter or the radius of the Earth, as mentioned, is 6,400 kilometers. But since the ISS, it is 400 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. So with the 6,400, we still have to add a 400 kilometers. So it's here. So there's still a gap of 400 kilometers. That's why we're adding. So 6,400 plus 400 is 6,800. And now we're ready to figure out already the arc length. Radius is pi over 4. We multiply it with, baliktad pala. So 6,800 times pi over 4. So if we use our calculator, so 6,800 times pi over 4, that would give us an approximate of 5,340.708 kilometers. But we're asked to round it to the nearest kilometer, so no decimal place. The decimal place after the first decimal place is 7, and that's higher than a 5. So we need to round off our 0 here in our ones place into 1. So our final answer is the ISS travels approximately 5,341 kilometers during the ground station tracking. Now let's continue with example 6. Finding the area of a sector when the angle has radian measured. So find the area of the sector associated with a single slice of pizza if the entire pizza has a 14-inch diameter and the pizza is cut into 8 equal pieces. Okay, first of all, we have to figure out what is a radius. Radius is just half a diameter. So to get what is R, 14 divided by 2. So you will get 7 inch. Now, to find the angle of each slice of a pizza, which is cut into 8 pieces, so what we need to do, remember, one whole pizza, okay, one whole pizza is just 2 pi. So the 2 pi now is divided into 8. It's divided into 8 equal pieces. So you might be wondering why is it that we are using 210 instead of 360? Because the formula for our area, the theta must be in radians. Okay, so that's why we're using 2 pi instead of 360 degrees. So 2 pi over 8, if you simplify that, that would be pi over 4. So we can already figure out the area of our circular sector. So 1/2 r squared theta. So that's 1/2 times 7 squared times pi over 4. So this is 49 pi. 2 times 4 is 8. So as of the moment, this is the area that we have, 49 pi over 8 inches squared. But if we use our calculator, approximately, this would be 19 square inches. If we round it to the nearest square inch. Now let's continue to example 7. Finding exact circular function values. So what is sine of 7 pi over 4? So what you need to do here to find what is A, you just have to check the table again that I have given you and figure out where is 7 pi over 4 in that. If you look at it, 7 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4 is in quadrant 4. It is somewhere here. So this is 7 pi over 4 in degrees. That would be 315 degrees. And then, yung ordered pair natin is square root of 2 over 2, then negative square root of 2 over 2. So, automatically, yung sign natin is yung is yung y coordinate natin. So, ito. So, negative square root of 2 over 2. Oops. Now, we'll figure out what is the cosine of 5 pi over 6. So, saan ba natin makikita si 5 pi over 6? So, 5 pi over 6, if hahanapin natin siya dun sa pina-screenshot ko during in my class, it's somewhere here. So, 5 pi over 6 in degrees, that would be 150 degrees. And then yung ordered pair natin is negative square root of 3 over 2 at saka 1 half for y coordinate. Cosine is the x coordinate. So, therefore, the cosine of 5 pi over 6 is just negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay. Ngayon naman, we have the tangent of 3 pi over 2. So, hanapin nyo muna yung 3 pi over 2. 3 pi over 2 is exactly here. Nasa y-axis natin siya. So, this is 3 pi over 2. In degrees, that's 270 degrees. And then yung ordered pair natin is, I think parang obvious naman. So that would be 0, negative 1. So, the tangent of 3 pi over 2, remember it's just sine 3 pi over 2 over cos 3 pi over 2. Yung sine natin is yung y, so negative 1. Cos natin is 0. So, negative 1 divided by 0 is always undefined. So, ibig sabihin yung final answer natin 3 pi over 2 is undefined. Now, let's continue to example 8, evaluating trigonometric functions. So, we will now evaluate the 6 trigonometric functions at each real number. So, the given is t is equal to pi over 6, but think of it as just a theta, okay? So that you will not be confused. So, now, yung pi over 6, hanapin niyo ulit dun sa ating unit circle. And then, yung unit circle natin, yung pi over 6 is nasa quadrant 1. So, kung titingnan natin, yung pi over 6 nandito siya. In degrees, that's 30 degrees. And then, yung ordered pair natin is square root of 3 over 2 and then 1 half. So, yung square root of 3 over 2 is yung x. Y naman is 1 half. So, the sign of pi over 6 is just the y coordinates 1 half. Yung cos ng ating pi over 6 is square root of 3 over 2. Yung cosecant natin, it's just the reciprocal of our sine. So that's 1 over our sine. So that's 1 over 1 half. So get the reciprocal. So 1 half is 2. So it's 2. Sunod naman yung secant natin is just the reciprocal of our cos, of our cosine. So 1 over cosine of pi over 6, where it's 1 over square root of 3 over 2. So 1 times the reciprocal is 2 over square root of 3. So magiging 2 square root of 3. So we still have to rationalize because irrational number in the denominator is not okay. So square root of 3 over square root of 3. So we'll continue it here. So yung makukuha natin is 2 square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just 3. So this is now our second. For our cotangent, it's just the reciprocal of our... wala pa pala tayong tangent. So, tangent is just sine pi over 6, then the cos of pi over 6. So, the sine is 1 half. Cosine of pi over 6 is square root of 3 over 2. So, that's 1 half times 2 square root of 3. So, you will get 2 over 2 square root of 3. Okay, we don't have much space, so just use your calculator perhaps, or you do it on your own. But tangent would just be square root of 3 over 3. And then dito ko nilang ilalagay yung cotangent natin. Cotangent pi over 6 is just the reciprocal of it. So of our tangent. So cos pi over 6 over sine pi over 6. So magiging square root of 3 over 2 over... Oops. Ako po. Okay, yan. Dito ko na lang ilalagay. Square root of 3 over 2 over 1 half. And if you will simplify that, you'll end up with square root of 3. So those are our results. 1 half, square root of 3 over 2, square root of 3, 2, 2 square root of 3 over 3, and square root of 3 over 3. Next, if it's 5 pi over 4, yung 5 pi over 4 naman natin, if titingnan natin yung ating circle, unit circle, nasa quadrant 3 siya. Oops. So somewhere here. So this is 5 pi over 4. And in degrees, it's 225 degrees. Then yung ordered pair natin is negative square root of 2 over 2 and negative square root of 2 over 2. So automatically yung sine ng ating 5 pi over 4 would be the y coordinate, so negative square root of 2 over 2. Yung cos, yung x coordinate, which is also the same. Okay, yung tangent natin would be sine 5 pi over 4 over cos 5 pi over 4. So sine 5 pi over 4 is negative square root of 2 over 2. This is negative square root of 2 over 2. They're just the same, so you can just cancel it out. Then negative divided by negative is positive, so 1. For cosecant, that's 1 over sine. So 1 over negative square root of 2 over 2. So if you simplify that using calcu, you will end up with an answer which is negative square root of 2. And then for secant, that's negative square root of 2. And then yung cotangent natin is 1 as well. Okay, let's have C now. This would be our last example. We have negative pi over 3. So since it's already negative, So, we need to figure out its coterminal angle. So, paano natin mahanap yung coterminal angle natin para hindi tayo mahirapan? So, negative pi over 3. Since it's negative, we need to add. And since this is in radian, so 360 degrees, so positive 360 degrees yung i-add natin, pero radian siya. So, ibig sabihin 2 pi. So, negative pi plus 2 pi over 3. Kung gagawin natin siyang manual ha, kung yung usual natin ginagawa, LCD is 3. So, we need to multiply 2 pi over 1 with 3 over 3. So, magiging negative pi over 3 plus 6 pi over 3. Then, magkapareho na sila ng denominator. So, we can just add the numerators. Copy the common denominator. Negative pi plus 6 pi is 5 pi over 3. So, titingnan mo lang yung 5 pi over 3 sa ating unit circle. 5 pi over 3 is in quadrant 4. So, somewhere here. So, in angle, so that would be 300 degrees. Ibig sabihin nito, yung negative pi over 3 is the coterminal angle of 5 pi over 3. Okay? So, 1/2, then negative square root of 3 over 2. So, there you go. Yung sine natin sa ating negative pi over 3 would just be the y coordinate, so negative square root of 3 over 2. Yung cosine is yung x coordinate, so 1/2. And then, for tangent, okay, I will just reveal to you the answer, but just try to solve it on your own. And as I said, always, use your calculator as an advantage. Then for cosecant, that would be negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. And then secant would just be 2. And then cotangent would just be negative square root of 3 over 3.